How's it going? Today I'm going to demystify the infamous 12-volt relay. I'm going to do a two-part video series. The first being like a classroom portion where I'll explain what they're used for, and we'll draw up a circuit to use them in a couple different ways. First for current isolation, second for a logic circuit. The second portion of the video, I'll actually go hands-on. We'll wire a couple of these up for fog lights in my own vehicle. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. All right, so let's take a look at the relay contacts here. So with this relay, this is a regular 12-volt relay. You have pin 30, you have 87 alpha, 87, and then this one would be 85, this one would be 86. Now let me show you on paper kind of what these are and how they work. 85 and 86 are a coil. So you supply power to one side and ground to the other side. The switch will close, and then you can use this path for your circuit. If you want to use the normally closed portion of the circuit, you would use this path when that's non-energized. Okay, so here's the logic table for the circumstances that we want for our fog lights to be able to come on. Our two inputs are going to be our high beam, our low beam, and then our output to the fog lights. So let's talk about this. If our high beams are off and our low beams are off, we don't want our fog lights to be able to come on. Anytime our high beams are on, we want the fog lights to be off. So we've got a high beam on, low beam off, they're going to be off. And a high beam on, low beam on, we want the fog lights to be off. The only time we want these to come on is if the high beams are off and the low beams are on. That's going to give us our circumstance that we want for the fog lights to come on. And we're going to get that with one of these relays. And I'll show you how. This one relay will give us the logic that we want in order to get our circumstances for our fog lights. And the way it's going to do that is we're going to use our normally open contact, our 87A contact right here for our low beams, and we're going to power through the 30. So let's take a look at the way how this works. In this circumstance, 0, 0, 0. We have no input from the high beams. We have no input from the low beams, which is going to give us a no input from to our fog lights. Let's look at this next one. We have a high beam input, but no low beam output. When we energize this coil with our high beam input, the switch is going to turn like that. And we have nothing on the 87, so we're still going to get nothing here. Same thing here. Even if we turn this low beam on, the contact is closed via the high beam, and we're going to get nothing here. If we get to this circumstance with our high beams off, the low beams will turn on. We'll be able to have power here to our switch. So we talked about our logic over here. Let's say we've got our circumstances from our logic. We've got 12 volts here. We close this switch. It's going to energize this coil, which pulls this switch closed, which puts our power to our fog lights. All right, so let's show this on actual relays. Right here, we've got our 86. This is 85. This is 30. This is 87A, and this is 87. We're going to take 86 to ground, and we're going to do that same thing over here. Our 85 is going to be to our high beams. Our 87A is going to go to the low beams, and our 30 is going to go to our switch. Let's make this our switch inside. It's going to go inside the cab to our switch. Now on this relay here, we got our ground. We got to take this one over here to our 85. So we'll just kind of take it over here like that to our 85. 30, we're going to take this through a fuse. That's our battery. We're going to take our 87 to fog lights. All right, so what kind of craziness is Mark got going on here? All right, this will make sense here in a minute. These are our two relays. This one would be the logic relay. This one right here would be our isolation relay. This would be our simulated fog light. Here is our simulated switch in the on position. These are our power sources. So this would be our high beam switch, and it's in the off position. This would be our low beam switch, and it's also in the off position. So if you see by our logic diagram, we're in this state. Off, off, and our output is off. So let's move to the next one. Let's turn the high beams on. Did you hear our logic relay click? Our high beams are on, our low beams are off, and we still have a 0 output. Let's turn the low beams on. Low beams on, high beams on, we're at a 0 output. Now here's the important one. When we turn our high beams off, our light should come on. Let's try it. And boom, it works exactly like we want it to work. Now keep in mind, I use the term low beams here because in my Jeep, I'm gonna run them off the low beam circuit. You can run them off a marker light circuit instead, and it's the same diagram that you would be wiring up through the relays. So that's a substitute that you may want to do. In my case, it is working exactly like I want it to work, and that's it. Oh yeah. So our proof of concept works. Our drawing is valid. Using two relays is the way to go. It's acting the way we want it to act. At this point, I'm going to end this video, and in the coming weeks, I'll actually put this into play on my Jeep. So if you're interested in that, I'll post the link at the end here, wherever it goes, one right here maybe. I don't know. I'll post the link somewhere here. Until then, I'm going to play with this for a little bit longer, and you guys have a great day. Oh yeah. Take it easy.